Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dragon's Lair podcast in association with Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and great food in Newport. I'm Jamie and joining me as always is Gavin Thomas, Gareth and Gavin. Hello gents, how are we? Good weekend?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm, for once, not the most hungover on the pod, which is good news.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had a lot to drink on Saturday. I started very early and I came home at 1:30 in the morning. My wife said, "That's not like you." I said, "I know."
Oh, that was a big sesh.
It was. And we didn't even win. The Dragons didn't even win. And I was out celebrating because we didn't lose. But yeah, it was a good night. Met a lot of people. Met Sam, of course, didn't we? From the Black Feather pod.
Yeah,
Grant,
nice.
Lovely Grant Burney from the Ospreys Supporters Club and co-host of the Ospreys Erie. Great to meet him. Lovely, lovely guy.
Yeah.
Kathy, was it Kathy I met or Kathy? I'm sorry, I had a lot to drink. I can't remember your name. You know, if you're listening, you know what I mean. Really nice people. I got speaking to a lot of Ospreys fans on Rodney Parade. And they're really good people. And they're very worried about the situation. And I get it. I completely get it. It's a shame it's come to this, isn't it? But we will get into all that a bit later on. But let's look back at the weekend. So the good news is Dragons didn't lose a game.
Yay.
Yay! The bad news is we still can't win a game in rugby. So the barren run has now been extended to 22 games as they were held by Ospreys. 19-all, the score finished. Dragons' second draw of the season. 2 draws that could and should have been wins, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an enjoyable game. Lauren Salter said on Premier Sports, it's the Welsh derby that always delivers. And she's right.
Yeah.
It was another very enjoyable Dragons Ospreys derby at Rodney Parade. It's my favourite derby, especially when it's played in Newport, not in Swansea, because we always get battered. But yeah, it was a great game. Really enjoyed it. Ospreys were 19-7 up at one point, and they looked on course to claim their first win at Rodney Parade since 2021. That's mad, that is, isn't it? But a stirring Dragons comeback denied them a much-needed victory. So let's go to our man on the terrace then. Come on then, Gareth. What did you make of that result?
Oh, I mean, we didn't get the win, but that was much better from us. It was enjoyable. It is the best derby. It's always a good game. I felt it's a game the crowd are up for as well, because we know we can, get one over on the Ospreys, and Derry Lake was in for some special attention at every lineup, which was good fun. But I thought in large patches we played really well. Quite a few stand-up players. Great to see Thomas Young make his debut. Looked really good. Should he have had his first try in Dragons colours? I think that was a close call, getting it pulled back.
Have you watched it back on TV?
Yes.
Yeah, if you see it on TV, then it wasn't a try. Because Ryan Woodman's offside when he blocks through the tackle.
Yeah, I can see why he wasn't given, to be fair.
Yeah.
You couldn't really give that if you've seen that, because he's already offside. He's blocked the tackler.
Yeah, and Derry Lake does the right thing.
He's holding the tackler in.
He?
He's holding the tackler in with his arms.
Yeah. Thomas Young finished it superbly well, which was a good sign. So that was, nice to see him. And like Bedell coming on for him again looks sort of a player beyond his years. Anisi, I thought when he actually got the ball, watching the game back, fantastic. He can bump a player, he can step a player. I mean, do we want to just speak about Aaron Wainwright for an hour? Because
I'm happy to do a full
what a
pod
man.
on our Wainwright. He's so good.
what,
And he is playing out
a
this
player.
game.
He is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like that is, he's some of the best performances I've seen from anyone in a Dragon shirt at the minute. He's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, first half was frustrating, wasn't it? I think our discipline was a bit poor at times. We got stretched in defence, and they just seemed to be running through large gaps in our midfield where we just didn't have the numbers to cover. So we looked a little poor there, and our wingers were just sort of left grasping at air with a couple of their attacks, which looked poor. But felt like second half, we came out, like we kept the ball. We looked really physical. We forced pens out the Ospreys as well, which isn't something we don't often do to teams. And like, I love our players, like I do. And like, I really feel like they gave everything for that jersey. I felt like we carried with like a lot of intent, but I just feel we lack some ideas and attacking structure behind. And I think that when I'm looking at that team and the players we've got and the way the forwards are carrying, I think maybe the quality of the coaching has to come into question.
Yeah,
we're not making line breaks to the backs. All our tries come through set piece. I mean, Sam Hobbs, I think, is doing a good job. Forwards and the set piece went really well.
Yeah.
Line-up's working well, isn't it? That rolling ball.
Yeah, line-up going really well. I think having Ryan Woodman at 6 as a line-out option as well puts himself about. I thought he had a great game, and it's just we're doing a lot right. And I think there's times when the Dragons are down by the score we were down. Was it 19-7, you said, at one point?
19-7, yeah.
Yeah, and the same against the Sharks. It looked like the game had got away for us. But this Dragons team stay in the fight and get themselves back in the game, which I really like. And I can sort of like attach myself to that team. But we are lacking something behind. We're not making line breaks. We're not scoring tries to the backs. I know Rodri scored, but it was, from a driving line out. I think we're being let down by the quality of the coaching, to be honest, and that's quite sad to see, or quite sad to say even. But overall, I'm happy with it. I thought we played really well. I think it's another one that's got away from us, but at least we're in the fight. That's all I can ask, because I think if we're in that many games at home this season, some of them will get over the line and we will win games. So pretty happy. A lot that I could take away that was positive. I didn't feel distraught at the end, and it was a good day on the terrace.
Do you still feel like it was a game that got away from us, though? Because of those missed kicks.
Yeah, I mean, at times that game was lost, and we dragged ourselves back in it. So I don't really feel. I feel like a draw was maybe a fair result, because I think both teams had their times of dominance, and the missed kicks. I know a lot of people were saying he should have went for the corner off the pen because we were so dominant up front and we were a man up.
Yeah.
But if we had done that and not scored, we would have all said, why didn't we go for the points? I think going for the points was right. Yeah. Shoot your shot. And look, against the Sharks, we all just said, shoot your shot. And if we had missed, whatever, but at least go for it. We went for it. We missed. It fucking happens. It's happened in our favour before. Costello missing them against us. Yeah, swings and roundabouts. I'm not.
You miss kicks sometimes, don't you? You do miss kicks. Well, I miss kicks all the time.
I thought Tinas had a good game. I think the one area where we did struggle was box kicking. Very rarely did we compete in the air off our kicks. And I don't mind us kicking long. We've got kickers who can put good length on the ball, but when we're putting them in the air to compete, they were uncontestable. I thought
we struggled in the air a bit. There were a couple of times where, we were outperformed in the air. I can't remember the guy's name, the Ospreys winger. He was getting a lot of ball from high ball. Cassende, yeah, that's his name.
Very, very good in the air.
You're really athletic. Fair play. Some of the height he was getting.
Good player.
Yeah.
Really big sign for the Ospreys.
It felt like it live when you're watching it, and every time the ball was coming up, they just felt a huge difference in our kicks compared to their kicks. And then, they were making a mess of it. I mean, fair play to the Ospreys. They sort of dominated that area. and it felt like we were going to struggle to claw it back from that. But we did. And yeah, we were a kick away from, or 2 kicks away, because we had two goes at it, 2 kicks away from winning the game. Bit of a mental end as well, really, wasn't it? Because the game was just going on, both teams actually wanting to win the game, but neither could. So yeah, I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games, though, that both sets of supporters come away from and say, we should have won that. Like, Ospreys should have won it being 19-7 up. They should have closed it out.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and I think Dragons deserve a lot of credit. We might not be given credit for it, but we deserve a lot of credit for not going into our shells and almost sneaking a win at the end. But also, we could have won it. It was, and this is what we've talked about. This is what we want to see from the Dragons. But equally, we could have won it. We should have won it with those missed kicks. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think Ospreys would be more annoyed because listening to their 20 million pods they have out there, they were all saying they were desperate for a win because they've had a tough block. They really needed this win, and they haven't got it now. So, of course, we need a win as well, obviously. But it felt like they came to Rodney Parade with a point to prove because of the news that broke, and also because they really needed that win, and they didn't get it. And I think Dragons deserve a lot of credit. I really do. But I'll say my takeaways later. Gavin, let's come to you then. Your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, so I didn't see the game live on TV because I was out, so I watched it this morning. So I knew the result, and it was just. But I was checking my phone. I was at the gig, so I was just checking my phone as the stuff, and I was. When we were 19-7 down, and I was at the gig with Johnny McGinty from the Scottish Rugby pod, and I said, look at that, he went, are you surprised? I was, I suppose not. And then at half-time, at full-time, I went, look at that, he went, oh, that is surprising.
We didn't lose. There you go. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and, I thought there were some real things that stood out for me. First of all, I thought Thomas Young is exactly what we need. He's a nuisance at the breakdown, but he's also good at breaking the gain line as well, which I didn't really realise was part of his game. So I thought that was impressive. And like Gareth, I think Anisi gives us something different in the wing. He's bustling, he's aggressive. I'm going to say a positive about Rodri, and then less positive, I suppose. When he stopped that break, mind you, that player, the fact when he didn't pass her inside the Ospreys player, and Rodri's got over him and rucked over the ball, you're like, oh, mate.
That was excellent.
You butchered that opportunity, but fair play for Rodri for doing that. I thought some of the kicking was good, and I thought some of the kicking was poor.
Yeah.
I thought Angus dealt very well with the counter. There were a couple of times his ball's been kicked to him and he's run it straight back at them quite aggressively. There did seem to be a different kind of energy to the team. But I do think there's still some fairly substantial issues we've got. I like Tinas. I think Tinas is a great player. He's chaotic, though. And sometimes you think, oh, God, mate, just be a slightly calmer head.
He's fun though, isn't he, Gavin? You got to admit, he's really good fun to watch.
He really is. But like in defence, it's like, mate, why are you blitzing? Everyone else in the line, and you see the 10 just running out to smack a second row over you. Like, I love watching that, but in attack sometimes it's like there's one point we've got a 4-on-3. And it's tight, and I get it. But instead of just passing it through the hands, he's flicked her over the top of everyone's head to Anisi, who's had to come in field anyway. But and I think we struggle at scrum half. I thought we did look better when rugby's greatest Iranian, Niall Armstrong, came on.
Why are they still using the Iranian flag on Premier Sports for Niall Armstrong's nationality? What is that about?
He's from West Belfast. I did check up just to see he wasn't accidentally from Tehran or something.
But it's weird, isn't it? Why do they keep doing it?
And I thought he played well, but also his box kicking. It's not so much about the box kicking. The box kicks, like you said, Gareth, is only as good as how well you can compete. Yeah, and with both him and Rodri kicking, it wasn't competitive. The scrum was a problem again, isn't it?
It did struggle. Yeah.
without Hunt. And I know Ospreys are probably one of the strongest scrums, in the UFC, but yeah, it struggled.
Mm.
And we got that one scrum penalty, and Gareth Thomas looked confused as to why he'd been given against him. And I was watching it thinking, I don't know why that's been given against him, because I don't think he'd come round. He just went under the bloke and drove him up.
I know the one you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a penalty. We were under the pump, and we've got a scrum probably 30 metres, 25 metres from our own post. And he's gone up and driven up his opposite number. It would have been Coleman at that point of the game, I think.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and the ref blown up on the Dragon side. Oh, all right. And I thought the ref was all right. I thought the ref actually managed the game well.
Yeah. He's appeared on the Rap podcast. He's a good ref. I like him.
I thought he did very well. He was, the Woodman, not Woodman try, the young try. I get why that was disallowed, because it needed to be. So on the whole, yeah. And could we have won it? Yes, I think we could have. Should we have won it? Yeah, I don't know. I think we did well to get back. We had those opportunities, but this is very different to the Sharks game, where you're like, we lacked bravery. We didn't lack bravery in this.
No,
you
can't accuse him of that. No.
Yeah, it was an improved performance for me.
Yeah, when was the last time we saw that our bench, or what season when our bench has come on and made an impact as well? And I thought that's a promising sign. Shows our depth.
I think there is greater depth, perhaps, in some positions, and we knew it. And we always knew back row was strong-ish, or strong. But now I think, Woodman's really coming through for me. He's a impressive player. Bedell, Young, and then you throw in Wayne O'Shea, Lewis Hughes, all the others we've got.
Not even having not even having Keddy and Mackenzie Martin involved in this quality.
Yeah, I'm with Pontypool legend Solomon Funaki to join us. Put him up there with Bobby Windsor and Charlie Faulkner. Pontypool legend. I apologise, Pontypool fans. I've been light-hearted.
That Niall Armstrong, though, you mentioned him. He is the type of scrum half we like, that he's just constantly bollocking every player on the pitch, no matter which side they're playing for as well. He's having to go with the Ospreys. He was shouting at our players.
I dare to play with him as a forward, because you could just imagine, like, get in there, what are you doing? Get yourself out of there. Why are you doing that? Just constantly in your ear.
But I think we did look a bit better when he came on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Definitely. Hell of a lot better.
Yeah, just much quicker. Just sharper.
Yeah.
And he got around the breakdown well. And he bossed it.
And you mentioned Tinas as well. I think he tries to do, he does do too much. You mentioned him flying out in defence, and there was one, I think it might have been from a scrum, we went blind, and he had so much room to give it to Hugh Anderson, who didn't get a sniff in space all day. And you're like, just let him run in the space. Instead, Tinas has taken it. And you're like, just give it to the wing, mate. Just let him do it. Don't worry.
I find him anxiety causing. No, you're both, well, Jamie, maybe not quite as much, but probably too young to remember Arwell Thomas. Can you remember Arwell Thomas?
Just about, yeah.
Late 90s. He was a Welsh scrum half, Welsh outside half, played for Swansea in Wales. And Barry John said, I like watching Arwell Thomas. When you get the ball, you know someone's going to score a try. The bad thing is you don't know which team. And there's an element of that in Tinas.
It looks sometimes to me, though, like he's trying a bit too hard.
Yeah.
Like he's taking too much on and too hard to try to impress and create things.
I think he's just that player. He's one of those 100%.
He was like that at
heart on the
Cardiff,
sleeve.
wasn't he? To be fair, he was just. 100%
I probably didn't watch him as closely. I know I'm watching him every week. It's like, oh no, this is bonkers to watch at times.
But do you like De Beer though, Gav? Because you was very sceptical when we signed. I remember you saying, you weren't fussed on the signing. What do you think now? Do you like him? I know his goal kicking is an issue, but
I like him. I would like longer term another option at 10.
Mm.
You know, a bit like when Wales had Bigger and Anscombe.
Yeah.
And you could have Anscombe to do all the mad stuff, and then Bigger to just shut the game down and go, right, that's it now.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
You know, because I think game management, again, wasn't perhaps as strong as it could have been at points in the game. And maybe if we're going to say that's where we could have won it, it's just some of the decision making. And if you could just have a cool head who come on for the last 20 minutes and just shove the ball into corners, keep the ball off the field, just make really kind of tighten the game up, a bit like closing pitchers in baseball who come on for the last 2 innings with the whole thing, right, just don't let him hit the ball.
Yeah.
That kind of player, which he is not, Tina, said straight to say.
When we said last season we'd sign a 10, he's not the 10 I thought we would be looking to get, but I do love him because you watch him live and he just wants to fight everyone. And he looks like he's trying so hard to win the game, and
he's a joy to watch.
Love that. Yeah,
he's a joy to watch, but it's that kind of joy. You know, it's like going on a roller coaster. There's bits where you think, oh, this is all right, and then the next thing you know, you're upside down and screaming, and that's pretty much what he's like as a player.
Oh, he's a lovable guy, though, isn't he?
I've warmed to him massively, and I think I was wrong about my doubts about him.
It's just the goal kicking for me. If he improved his goal kicking, and this was the issue at Cardiff, by the way.
Yeah, we knew
he wasn't
an issue.
A very good goal kicker at Cardiff. But when David Buttress was on our pod, I remember he talked about getting a clutch kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tinas is not that, so we still haven't really nailed down that problem. And you know, he takes those kicks and he scores them. We win. And I don't want any more situations like that occurring over the season, especially when we can't win a game to save our lives at the minute. So that is an issue. I mean, we have brought in Reece Patchell. Hopefully we'll see that area improve, but it's just a bit of a concern now and it's something we've struggled with for a good few seasons now, having a clutch kicker, isn't it? It's not a new problem.
And if you look at Cardiff, like, you know, kind of, they've got a number of kicking options, and they won that game yesterday because Johan Lloyd kicked, a penalty right at the death, wasn't they?
Yeah. It shows as well, doesn't it, that we thought we were going to sign one, maybe two marquee players. We didn't, and we've had 2 games where we've drawn them, and you think if we could have got 2 marquee players over the line, 2 other players who are, say, performing at the level of an Aaron Wainwright in that side, we win those 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. My takeaways from the game then. So I was just really pleased with the fight and the character shown by the Dragons. Now, look, I was very critical of them against Cardiff. I stand by every word I said. I didn't see enough fight or urgency in that derby. I didn't see us get up for it. That can't be said this week. And that's why I want to see every match day from the Dragons. Because we know the Dragons don't deal with setbacks very well. And they do have a tendency to go into their shells when their backs are against the wall. But we didn't see that on Saturday night. We stuck at it. We stayed in the fight. Don't forget, we were 19-7 down, and Ospreys were 12 points ahead with 22 minutes to go. We would have crumbled last season in that situation. So I think there we are making progress. We are making baby steps. I would say this team is making baby steps. But that gives me a lot of hope. And it shows there are reasons to be cheerful despite not winning games. As mentioned earlier, Aaron Wainwright playing out of his skin this season. Well-deserved player of the match. If we had 15 Aaron Wainwrights on the field, then maybe we would actually win a game of rugby. I don't know, but he's just outstanding, isn't he? He's so good. I don't know about you two. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned by Rhodri Williams. Now, yes, he did score a try, in fairness to him. And it was that, you mentioned this, Gav, that excellent try-saving tackle and turnover on Hugh Sutton, which was really, really good. But he had his usual Rhodri moments as well. There was the 2 meaningless kits that went dead. He was burned for pace by Harry Deeves for his try, the knock-on at the scrum. He just looks a really frustrated figure at the moment, doesn't he? And look, all good players have their dip in form, but, Rhodri is going through a bit of a rough patch. And there's a lot of calls from the supporters to get Niall Armstrong starting, which I get. I do get it. But hopefully, look, it's just a rough patch and he'll pick up. But it has been a difficult start to the season for Rhodri, I'm afraid.
It's execution, isn't it?
It's too hot and cold, yeah.
Some of his decision making wasn't wrong. It was just the execution. Like those kicks dead.
The Deves try was poor as well because he was absolutely all at sea, not in the right place positionally.
Oh, he got proper bird for pace, didn't he?
Yeah. I know Deves is quick, but if he'd been in the right place, he wouldn't have needed to worry about how quick he was or isn't.
No, absolutely. But when Rodri kicks well, he kicks very well. And he's a very important player to this team. And I love the guy to bits, but I do think he's had a difficult start to the season. I'm starting to see a decline. And it is making me question now, do we start with Niall Armstrong? Or do we start pushing through guys, like Morgan Lloyd and Shea Hope a little bit more?
Yeah. The thing is, with Niall, he looked good, didn't he? But sometimes as a scrum have to come on and be told to up the tempo. No, you've got quite a sort of clear agenda in your mind. You can look like you can change a game, but he probably does still warrant the start. We've got a gap now, haven't we? Which we probably need, I think. A few players hobbling about.
I'm not saying Roger's been terrible, by the way, but I can see a decline. Like I said, some of his kicking in all of these matches has been really off. So that's something he needs to work on. In contrast to that, I'm really starting to warm up now to Niall Armstrong. He is fast becoming one of my favourite Dragons players. So another good performance off the bench. The momentum of that game swung the moment Niall Armstrong came onto the field because he upped the tempo when we really needed it. He added energy, he added urgency. There was more zip in the attack. And when he was talking, Gareth, about when he came over to the terrace and he's waving his arms going, come on. Yeah. He did that to us in the Bisley. He came over, he was waving his arms going, come on. He was shouting, come on. Loved it. More of that, please. We need characters like that in the Dragon squad. And he looks to be a real character. And you're right, Gavin, like he's chopping all the time. He's clapping his hands, he's shouting. He is that, typical scrum half that you need. But, I think he's great. I really, really like him. I had my doubts about him when I watched him in pre-season, but having him come off the bench, I think it's going to be a real weapon for us, because he can up the tempo. And it happened against Cardiff, didn't it? When Rodri went off and Niall came on, we suddenly looked a little bit better, had a bit more urgency. So, I'm really starting to warm to him. Thomas Young had a very good debut. Yeah, more of that, please. Fingers crossed he doesn't get injured. Speaking of injuries, the Dragons injury curse struck again, didn't it? So we had Joe Westwood going off early after what looked like a nasty head knock. Hope he's okay. He's having a bit of bad luck at the moment, Joe, with head knocks, isn't he? Which is a little bit concerning. But we wish him well. Wyn Jones went off after 42 minutes. And then you had Dylan Lewis going off after 67 minutes. So hopefully they're not serious injuries. But we really don't need the Dragons injury curse to be striking us this season, do we? We really, really don't. Finny Anisi is turning out to be a very good signing. Putting a very good shift. He's strong, isn't he? He was bumping off Ospreys players. Very, very
upper body strength, like is.
Yeah.
The old Tongan sidestep, innit? Just straight.
Oh, he's good.
There was one point on the TV footage where just kind of him wandering past and his biceps were massive. Oh my God, look at the size of that bloke.
Yes.
But he doesn't try running around people, does he? He's like, he can do it, but he's quite happy to run over someone.
Let's get him in some space. For God's sake.
He didn't get moved into 13 when Westwood went off.
No,
did he? Di Richards went there.
He went pretty well.
I thought Di Richards played well, but
he did,
that was a prime opportunity to put
it was, wasn't it?
At 13.
We really do look like we need to be getting him on the ball earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. According to the stats, Ospreys conceded more penalties than us, but it certainly didn't feel that way. We have got to improve our discipline, particularly in the first half of matches, and we got to stop giving teams easy ins because it's absolutely killing us. And it's happened all season so far. We're just giving away daft penalties. We bring more pressure onto ourselves, don't we, when we're giving away penalties and giving easy ins to the opposition team, and then they go in out 22 and they score. And it's a pattern I'm seeing, and we've really got to stop it because it is killing us, as I said. But look, overall, yes, there were frustrating moments in that game. I'm bored of saying how bad our attack is. It stinks. We all know it. There were some defensive glitches, and there were too many easy ins for the Ospreys. But believe me, this was a much, much better performance
Yeah.
than the disappointing and flat performance that we saw against Cardiff. I was not happy with that Cardiff performance. I called it out. But this week, much, much better. Having said that, though, we still haven't won. So
No.
we've been waiting 13 months now for a league win. And to be honest, I am starting to question when this duck is going to be broken. Because another season of 1 or 2 wins, that's completely unacceptable. And there has to be resignations if that happens. Sorry, but it does.
Yeah,
we have got
agreed.
a pretty decent squad now. We've been told for years that we don't have the depth or the quality. This is a squad chock full of international players. So there's no excuses now. We have to start kicking on. So yeah, mixed feelings for me, but much, much better than Cardiff, wasn't there? Would you all agree with that? That was much better.
100%. I should say as well, because I sort of wanted Angus to drop to the bench after last week's performance, but I thought he had a very good game.
He did.
Fair play to him. That's what you want to see. You want to see.
Attacking was really good, I thought. You know, he gave us a bit of zip.
Yeah. But he's a key member of this team, though, and it's the same with Rodri. When those two play well, Dragons play well.
Yeah.
If they're not playing well, Angus and Rodri, we don't play well. They're very important players for us, but they do need to be more consistent because they're blowing hot and cold at the moment. Yeah. Right, let's go to the listeners' mailbox and let's see what our lovely listeners made of it. So Ash Cordwell said Armstrong has to start. There was a lot of love for Armstrong. Roderick Jones says desperately unlucky with injuries to new signings again. Desperately unlucky with injuries to new signings again. Yeah, it's the Dragons' injury curse, unfortunately. What else we got? Lee Jones said another draw that could have been a win. Forget the missed kicks. He said we had chances to win it and fluffed them again. Errol Tuttle says Armstrong really made a difference. Attack still looks awful, he says. We go sideways and backwards with little penetration as the phases mount up. This season, he says, I'm feeling flat. Doesn't look like we've improved relative to the other teams, and 15th or 16th is where we're going to end up again. It's the hope that kills you. Do you think that's a fair comment? That we don't look like we've improved relative to other teams. Would you go along with that?
It's reasonable, I think. You know, it might be a bit much, but you know, it depends what you're talking about. We certainly haven't improved in comparison to Cardiff, but you know.
Oh no.
Look where we were starting from.
Us Ospreys and Scarlets are all not great.
But we're starting from a much lower bar than Cardiff, to be fair, aren't we? Yeah. So, you know.
We were absolutely horrendous last season. Like it's been over a year since we won a game. It's probably too early to judge, but I think we look a better side. The squad depth is definitely better. We've got injuries already, but we still put out a good bench and there was players not involved.
Yeah, we're not reliant on kids as much, are we? And the kids we are playing, we're playing out of choice, not out of necessity.
Yes, yeah. I think the squad actually looks quality, and that's why I think the coaching does have to come into question. Because are they getting the best out of this new look Dragons that is stacked with quality players? Yeah. I'd say no.
No, fair enough. I agree. Harry Crabtree says we can't win a game for love nor money, but says he thinks our talent ID from the recruitment team has been excellent. He says every player, apart from probably Jack Lloyd, seems to have brought a difference compared to last season. The coaching, however, he says, isn't good enough. Does feel a lot like Lions led by donkeys at the moment. That's interesting. Jason Alford said much improved from last week. Our season is still on, he says. Darren Elgar says we had 3 winnable games in the first block. To win at least 2 would have been great. Green shoots of hope with the performances from the new signings. Yeah, I agree. Ian Clark says apart from the Scarlets at home, it's hard to see us winning a game. He says I hate to be negative, but the co-captain should have taken responsibility to take the pressure off De Beer for that kick. The penalty, he means. His place kicking has been off the mark. So do you know what? I was thinking about this today as I watched the game back. Do we think that maybe Angus should have stepped up and took that penalty, given the fact that De Beer had a pretty difficult time goal kicking? Part of me thinks maybe he should have stepped up and gone, do you know what? I'll take this one. No,
but you don't. You know, it's a bit. You don't want to take it away from someone who's trying to do the job, like there.
But that was at Cardiff when Sheedy has a howler. Ben Thomas steps up and takes the penalties and the conversions.
No, I think I think Tinas is right to do it. He's outstaffed. He was the chosen kicker. And it's not like Angus is a really high percentage kicker anyway.
No, well, there's that bit to it as well.
If you had Lee Halfpenny at fullback, you go, give it to him. But
Elliot Daly or someone.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Graham Shamar says coaches need to be more meticulous in what they are doing. In tight games, it can be the difference. We haven't got the financial clout compared to others, so let's ammo ourselves with the best possible ammo we can use. E.g., let's not just settle for the savoury pancakes in the freezer. I think that's a reference to your Findus crispy pancakes analogy there, Gareth, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Matthew Williams says, last season we would have been dead and buried when we went 97 down. The spark that changed the game was putting Anderson on. He sped the game right up. Yeah, he did. Think we show we can fight right to the end. Ospreys, I think, were hanging on in the last 15. We were definitely the better side in those last 20 minutes. And Ospreys did feel like they were hanging on. They didn't really offer much at all in those final 20 minutes. But he says you should have won it. Should have gone for the corner with the penalty to be a miss. Well, it's easy to say with hindsight, isn't it? It's just one of those things. Like I said, if we'd taken a kick and he scored it, we wouldn't be saying now, would we? So there it is. Dave Ashton says, did well to come back to 19-0, but missed kicks again has cost us a win. Afraid to say it, but this is replicating last season with narrow defeats at home, now injuries mounting up. He says, I'm genuinely concerned that we may not win a game this season. What else do we got? Dan Hallett, friend of the pod, Dragon Supporters Chairman, says, as encouraging us to fight back was, we still allowed them soft tries and we missed opportunities to win. The monkey on our back now feels like a gorilla, he says. Nathan Dark says, we just start so slowly. Why do we start so slowly? It's a good point, isn't it? We need to start coming out, firing out of the blocks, I think. But anyway, he says, at home in a derby, we should be firing out the blocks. Yes, absolutely. Is it a leadership issue? Like the rest of us could see how gutted Wayno was when we missed those kicks. I got to say, I watched Aaron Wainwright's interview post-game when he was given the man of the match award. He was absolutely devastated, wasn't he?
He was
proper gutted.
He deserved a win.
Yeah. He absolutely did. He says things are not improving for me. Seems a deep-rooted culture issue. And are we changing bits, not the underlying problems? Well, I get the frustration. I think we are improving, but it's baby steps. There's still a hell of a lot of work to do, but I would say we're making baby steps.
It is minor steps, isn't it?
Gareth?
At least we're not going backwards. Because we have the last few seasons, we've been getting worse and worse and worse. So to now change the trajectory to be going forward, even if they are baby steps, we weren't going to become world beaters overnight.
No, absolutely not. And then finally, on a positive note, Amy Preston says, last season, we wouldn't have come back from being 12 points down. She's right. We wouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is a positive to end on. So heading into the international period, then Dragons are 15th in URC table with no wins, 3 losses and 2 draws. 3 out of the 4 Welsh sides are in the bottom 3 of the URC table. That's pretty damning, Alice. Dragons host Leinster up next on the 28th of November. Gavin, I'm going to ask you a question now, right? So we talked on this pod about how important this first block was, particularly the home games, and we haven't won any. Can you see a situation, and I'm not saying this to be funny or negative, this is a genuine question though. Can you see a situation like what happened to Benetton a few years ago where we don't win any league games at all?
Right. There's 2 prongs to this answer. Yeah, I can see it. Do I think it's likely? No. So it's not out of the bounds of possibility, but we've got a win or 2 in us.
Where do you think that the wins are coming from then? Because I've had a look at the fixture list, possibly Scarlets and Zebra.
Scarlets at home, Zebra.
Yeah.
Cornet, maybe. They blow hot and cold.
They're a good side, but yeah, they
are a gold side, but they're a bit inconsistent.
Yeah. So you think that we can win a couple of games then? And
well, I think we can. We can also not win any at all. But
I know that's the problem, isn't it? Oh dear. What about you then, Gav? Can you see a situation? Because that's what happened to Benetton, wasn't it, a few years ago? They didn't win a single league game. So could that happen to us? Because
Look at
we're
them
not
now with investment.
we're not getting over the line. I think we are making small improvements, but we still haven't won a game.
Yeah, we're not getting them over the line, but we're in the fight. So
yeah,
2 out of 3 home games. I mean, draws, like, you literally can't get any closer. And we had opportunities to win both. I think if we keep putting ourselves in the fight, we will get some over the line. You know, we've got a tough draw in the cup as well, but you know, we could win cup games. We could actually have a nice little cup run, hopefully. But yeah, I think if we're going to get wins, it's going to come at home. That's where we need to target them. But I can see there's enough quality in this side to get wins, definitely.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I just think a win would be transformational for this team.
Mm-hmm.
It would really get that monkey off the back. It would boost confidence. They're so close, aren't they? They're coming so close. Sharks.
It gets to the point you feel sorry for the team. Like, it's so frustrating.
But they're coming close. Ospreys, Sharks. We were competitive against Ulster. You know, Cardiff was a very disappointing game, but we did get a bonus point out for at least. Yes, we got thumped by Glasgow, but actually, as I said, I don't think that scoreline fully doesn't tell the full story of our performance. And I've said that a few times, and I stand by it. So
if we can win a couple of games, these 5 points we've picked up now aren't so bad. And that points total at the end of the season could be vastly improved on last season. But it's still an if, and if we can win these games.
Big ifs.
Yeah.
I love us to finish above the Scarlets, though. I really would. Well, I'd love us to finish above all the Welsh teams, but that ain't going to happen. But, you know, Scarlets are really struggling at the minute. But the thing with the Scarlets is, under Dwayne Peel, they always seem to have rough starts to the season. And then in the second block, they seem to pick up a few wins. That's what I think is going to happen. I could see them getting better in the second part of the season and accumulating more wins. That's what's generally tended to happen under Dwayne Peel. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Why can't that be us? Why can't we do that? Because we believe the Scarlets, they've got their squad's not really that different to ours. Why is it we think they can go and get wins? Okay, they've done it before, but why can't we? Do we have that belief?
Sorry, when you say it's not that different, what do you mean? Do you think we're on a par with them quality-wise then, or?
I would take our pack over the Scarlets pack all day long. I would, but I would, probably take a few of their backs. And that's being polite. Yeah, they've got a good back line, good half backs. But yeah, I'd take our pack over theirs all day.
I think Scarlets fans would have something to say about that, Gareth, if I'm being honest. But it's fine. It's opinion. That's fine. So I would like us to start picking up wins. Because I think if we finished above a Welsh team, that would be a big statement for us.
Yeah.
That would be a huge statement for this team. Because I'm fed up with finishing bottom of the pile all the time. You know?
You're right, though, as well. They will pick up wins. We can't rely on finishing above them with them just getting nothing and us just picking up bonus points. We need to go and win games.
Yeah.
It needs to be about what we can do, doesn't it?
Well, that's what was happening in previous seasons with Zebra. We were just hoping they'd be worse than us. And for a while they were, but now they're not.
Yeah.
So we can't rely on other teams being worse than us anymore. We've got to start winning games. Anything else now from the weekend? Anything you want to talk about the game or anything else from the weekend? No? Gareth?
One last thing. So obviously I moaned last week about the players not clapping the fans, which felt pretty low. This week, fair play to the players. They made the effort. They walked along the terrace, clapped us all. But then, quite a nice moment, they went into a very large huddle about on the 22 and a bit infield. Seemed like the whole matchday squad and others. And whilst they were there, we all then started singing the Men of Gwent song. You could see suddenly a few of the players start to look over their shoulder, and then they stopped their huddle and applauded the fans again, which was quite a touching moment. And it might have been a few beers deep, but I think I turned to my mate and said, I love this team. And I was like,
Gareth, you're
then, do you know when you're like,
for God's sake, get a grip, man.
Stop making me love such a stupid, shitty team. I love this team. Why can't we fucking win?
You're a soft lad.
It was lovely. And you're like, and I think all those players, I felt we played with a lot of intent and we really went after them. We played with passion, and that's what I want to see. just need to get it over the line. And that's what I hate to say it, but I question the coaching staff massively. I think we're being let down.
Yeah. We've got terrific fans, though, haven't we? Like the noise when Ollie Burrows went over.
Oh,
I've been at Newport County games when they've scored, and the noise was never as loud as that.
yeah.
It was a
it was
really
awesome.
loud cheer when he went over, and the fans were just fantastic again on the terraces. And it is sad. I mean, I've talked about it before, but they're just not rewarded, are they? Someone like yourself, Gareth, you're there, you're cheering, you're saying you love this team, and that's great, but you're not being rewarded. And that's
No.
the shame. I just wish these group of players can win a game to reward the fans and just, ease a bit of pressure. Because it'll make a difference, honestly. If they started winning games, we got decent support of Ronnie Parade. Imagine if the Dragons were winning games. We could easily get 7,000 there every week, I believe. I'm not saying you're going to sell out Ronnie Parade. No, but think about it. If we're averaging over 5,000 now and we're not winning a game, imagine what the attendance would be if we started winning games.
Well, funny you say that. My cousin Matt, who comes with us, he's a legend, and he said to me, God, he said, it's awesome here. He said, like, it's bouncing. Everyone's going nuts supporting the Dragons. He's like, imagine what it'd be like if we were good.
He's right, though. He's absolutely right.
I was like, it'd be insane. It'd be when we were relatively good and we were winning our fair share of games. It was amazing. It was fantastic nights over Ronnie Parade. And now I look back and think, oh, a lot of my memories are getting quite distant now. There's not that many recent ones. I mean, one home win last season is just not acceptable, is it?
One win last season in the league.
Yeah.
No, it's a shame. It's like I said, I think the supporters have been terrific. And I just want to see us being rewarded now. Like the atmosphere was great again, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Because I honestly don't think any other fan base would put up with what the Dragons have had to, the Dragon supporters have had to put up, mind. We have been asked to put up with a hell of a lot of shit, haven't we? To be fair. But yeah. Great support yet again. Okay. Anything else now from the weekend? Gareth, Gavin? Nothing?
Nope.
No. Okay, what should we do next? I tell you what, before we get into all the WRU shenanigans, shall we do Gwent Rugby Round-Up, Gav?
Certainly. So, no league games this weekend apart from the SRC, so mainly cup games, but SRC, Cardiff 31, Pontypool 5, and Newport season kick-started with a win against previously unbeaten Ebervale, 12 points to 5.
Good stuff.
Into the cups then, Prem Cup, Cardiff Met 17, Bargoed 40, the Championship Cup, Newcastle Emlyn 24, Aberdeen Blind Gwent 16, Penalsat 17, Treorchy 35, and Tondy 12, Bedwas 26, or mixed fortunes for our sides in the Championship. Into Division 1, Cup, Bedlinog 29, Monmouth 24, Blackwood 32, Sinclair's 12, Blaenau 31, Carnarvon 17, and Caerphilly won in a walkover versus Welshpool. Into Division 2, and sadly Croeso Ceiliog give a walkover to Aberaeron in their tie. Cowbridge 35, Pearl Harriers 12. Cwmbran were losing 14-0 to Llantwit Farger when the game was abandoned due to an injury. Hope the players are recovering. Newport Saracens 22, Unisabol 19. And Rumney 50, Porthcawl 23, and Usk won in a walkover versus South Gower. Division 3 Cup, Ammon United 16, Nantyglo 21, Posh Welsh Derby, Killian 43, Chepstow 19, Gondiff 24, Cardigan 17, New Dock Stars 23, Gwynafyd 13, Pengraig 11, New Panteg 13, a tight win for New Panteg. Division 4 Cup, Bonamine Athletic 43, Crickhowell 11, Maesteg 41, Crumlin 11. I remember when Maesteg used to produce international players. It's mad they're in Division 4 now. Oakdale 43, Furness United 36. Pandaflon 21, the Ironsides 14, and Pontypridd Fife are sadly losing 57-0 at home to Tylerstown. Division 5 Cup, Bargoed Athletic, a walkover versus Trinant. Blackwood Stars 20, Hartridge High School All Boys 5, Brecon Athletic winning a walkover against Havildr Ynys, and a fantastic win for a friend of the pod, Neutradiga, who went to Menai Bridge on Anglesey, which is about as far away as you can get, 120 points, 22 points to 20.
Fair play.
And Holybush sadly did not compete against Perswelly Athletic, who won by walkover. And then Dragons Athletic League, Pill Development 24, Gwynedd Athletic 38, and it's the Rats 24, Blackwood Griffins 10. And no women's rugby played this weekend involving our side, so that's all the ties.
Lovely stuff. Thank you for that, Gav. So how do you feel about Ebervale then? Newport?
Can't win them all, can you?
No.
I'd like to beat Newport occasionally, if I'm honest, but...
Yeah, I thought I didn't see Newport winning that.
No, neither did I, I'll be honest. I just assumed we'd win.
I'm just on X now. And you know that video the Dragons put out to the fans, Gareth?
Yeah.
You're on this video.
That was at the end in that when they were doing the huddle as well. That's when we were cheering. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so you're in that video. I screenshotted it and I put it up on X. I was like, there's our Gareth. And Josh McNally from Cardiff liked it, which is a bit strange, but fair play. Maybe he listens to the pod. I don't know. If you are, hi Josh.
Probably heard me abusing him when we played Cardiff.
He might have done, yeah. Josh McNally liked it, and guess who's just liked it? Super Christy Coleman.
Oh, come on.
There you go.
Get in.
Chris Coleman likes it. I like it when players like our tweets. It's just interesting. Yeah. Carwyn Tubelotu, who's playing in France now for Po, he likes a lot of our stuff, mind. Which is interesting. So again, I don't know if he... I take him back from France.
Good Pontypool lad.
Well, you know. Yeah, sorry, I just thought that was quite interesting. That's all. As soon as I saw liked by Christian Coleman, it's like, right, I'll let my Gareth know that. Right, then, moving on. Oh, God. More Welsh rugby chaos. Well, we're going to have to talk about it, aren't we? We are going to
At least this is the tough subject, not the game now, because we've found something worse. So that's good.
I don't know what we're talking about. Surely nothing has happened.
You wish. Oh, dear. Right, come on, then let's get into it. So, on Friday, the WRU announced it will cut one professional team by 2027. The Welsh Rugby Union said it will honour its current funding commitment to all 4 regions. So, Ospreys and Scarlets have deals until June 2027. That's the old BRA. And Cardiff and Dragons until 2028 because we're on the new one. But the WRU will reduce the number of teams being funded to just 3 as soon as possible, they say, possibly by next season. The 3 teams will be equally funded, initially by 6.4 million per year, and then that rises to 7.8 million. We're going to have 1 team based in the East, 1 based in Cardiff, and 1 in the West. So if current regions cannot come to a consensus as to how they'll be decided, such as a merger, for example, then the WRU will open up a tender process for the 3 licenses. It is worth pointing out as well, because this has gone under the radar, but the WRU also announced significant investment in the women's game, including 2 elite women's teams, a women's national academy, and a new domestic league. I think it's right to point that out because, like I said, I think it's gone under the radar. I think they're also going to invest in Super Rugby Cymru and Club Rugby as well, which is good. So that was the bombshell that broke. Dragons did put out a statement on Friday night. I'm not going to read all of it, but they said that they were encouraged that the strength and potential of rugby across Gwent has been recognised, from the deep community roots of our clubs to the pathway opportunities for young players. They said, we are pleased that the WRU has accepted that elite rugby must remain in Gwent. They also say there are still significant issues which we encourage the WRU to reconsider. They said it's essential the clubs retain control of rugby decisions. This will ensure a sustainable domestic model which helps build a successful national team. We will continue engaging with the WRU to make sure that the structures and governance of the game are made acceptable. And then David Wright, who's the Dragons chairman, of course, he said, retaining elite rugby in Gwent is the correct decision. I'm pleased that the WRU has accepted that. We'll carry on talking to the union and hope to reach an agreement on a sustainable operating model. He then added, the last few months have been difficult and uncertain for the Dragons community. We are so grateful for the continued support of everyone connected with our club. So there we are then. It's the biggest shake-up in Welsh rugby for 20 years. And despite the desperate attempts by the WRU chairman, Richard Collier-Keyword, it appears to be a straight battle between Ospreys and Scarlets for the West Wales spot. He did his best to play this down, but I think we all know now it's a shootout between Ospreys and Scarlets. That's where we are.
Well, no, not if you believe some of the people I've been interacting with on social media. Now, I wasn't a very good geography teacher when I taught geography, but no one I taught surely would think that Swansea is the central part of Wales. Well, it's Llanelli West, Swansea is central, and Cardiff are east. Okay, that's not how geography works, but
We just have the district leagues are already organised. We are all our clubs are the East District, aren't we?
Well, there's East District and there's a Central District. There is a Swansea District and a West Wales District. But
right, okay.
But getting back to the matter at hand, we all thought that we were going to get 4 teams. So I was told by a couple of people in the know on Thursday night that there was going to be a WRU press conference on Friday morning, and they were going to announce 4 teams. That's what everyone thought. That's even what the journalists thought, because Gareth Rhys-Owen was on Radio Wales saying that it was their thought that they were going to turn up to this press conference and they were going to announce 4 teams, but the journalists only found out later in the day that actually we're going to go down to 3 teams. So it took everyone by surprise. This was a bit of a bombshell. So we thought we were getting more clarity on Friday afternoon, and instead we've just got more uncertainty, haven't we? But yeah. So who wants to kick this off then? Who wants to talk about this?
Go on, Gav.
Come on, Gavin.
I'll throw you the grenade.
What are your thoughts on this?
Right. So, what are my thoughts on it? I'm going to ignore what it means for other clubs. I'm going to ignore what it means for us. I'm focusing on what it means about the WRU. I was messaging you, Jamie, and honestly, they are the most inept organisation imaginable. You know that the bloke they were seeking for the asylum seeker guy who'd been released from prison accidentally. I assumed the WRU were responsible for his imprisonment because it was just unbelievable levels of ineptitude. Got the comms wrong all the way. 2 teams is a model. That's what we want. That's the preferred option. It's not about existing sides. And I was like, existing sides, 3. But we don't know what that's going to look like. And saying as soon as possible. Oh yeah, because I'm sure Ospreys and Scarlets will be like, one of us will pack in. He'll be all right, boys. Don't worry. It's all the other stuff is absolute noise. What we have to focus on is the people responsible for running the game that we love are not capable of doing it with any level of capability.
No, that's fair enough. I just think the WRU are just hopeless, aren't they? I mean, 7 months ago, the WRU told us, don't forget, that there was enough talent and money for 4 teams. Then there wasn't. Then 2 months ago, they were adamant that 2 teams was the way forward. And now it's not. And this is the governing body, let's not forget, that told us, we think going forwards, there are fans of players with individual supporters following players. It's just utter nonsense. They haven't got a clue what they're doing, have they?
That is true. There are fans of players. They're kids. And the last time I checked, kids don't go into your ground, buy season tickets and buy beer.
No, absolutely not. Gareth, how did you react to this news about WRU cutting to 3 and pro rugby continuing in Gwent?
I mean, I think Gav's hit on the nail on the head that they're inept. I mean, how do you have a massive hour-and-a-half press conference where you're in full control of the narrative, yet every single person has left that confused as to what is going on, which is quite concerning. Part of me thinks that they're trying to cause confusion, because how could they be that bad at what they're doing? We've always, all of us on here have been advocates of 4 teams, always pushing 4 teams, really sympathetic to anyone losing their side. I'd be devastated if it was us. I'd be lying if there wasn't a small part of relief when I seen that Cardiff Central and an East team, and you just think, well, that has to be a team based out of Rodney Parade. Yeah. So that, you can't not be a little bit relieved then. Feel so sad for the teams in the West that have seemed to be battling it out. But
it's been interesting, because I've seen some people say, well, it doesn't have to be from after being Newport. It could be a Valleys team. Well, Valleys team has got elite infrastructure in place.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely bananas for it to not be anywhere but Rodney Parade. It's where the densest population, the infrastructure, everything. The ground is owned. There's the cabbage patch to develop, which sadly is, we're not hearing about that at the minute because of all of this, but that should be pushing on. I think my main concern, interesting in the Dragons' statement that they use the word accepted rather than, as if the WRU have come to their own conclusions, like we've had to force on them, which is probably the case around elite rugby should remain in Gwent. But the interesting part is that, what about who controls the rugby? WRU want to control the rugby, but our owners want to control the rugby, and so do any other owners, most likely. How would you possibly attract any investors if they're not going to have full control of a club? They're not going to put money in. So that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. It's just such a confusing matter. I'm not sure what to think. There's a couple of interesting things. I know you mentioned the women's rugby and the pathways both being invested in, which I think is really good. That's something we want to see. Important for different reasons. We want to be producing players who are sort of ready to play top level physically at a younger age. And women's rugby is massively important. They should have the opportunity, and there's a huge commercial opportunity with the growth in the women's game. So I am glad that's being addressed, but I don't think it should be at the detriment of another region when it's the WRU who are spending millions on a roof walk instead of rugby and putting us in this sort of mess in the first place.
I think it's important to the women's game is not where their money's going, because the funding they're suggesting for the women's game is still an absolute pittance in comparison to England.
Yeah, right.
It's not elite levels of funding. It's the bare minimum, really. It's that's not where their money's going. The money's going because it's run by people who don't know how to run serious businesses.
Yeah. There's not much how things are going to happen. So there's a bit in there that the average regional coaching budget is 1.4 million per year. That's set to increase to 2 million per year. Well, how? And if the WRU control rugby, are they appointing coaches? There's so much to sort out. We're just in for more uncertainty now as well. Players' contracts are up. This time last year, Ben Carter renewed his contract. Players are negotiating already. We're already hearing Jack Morgan talking to Saracens. We're going to have players out of contract, and so all the other regions. Why would you stay in Wales with all this uncertainty if you've got an offer elsewhere? It's ridiculous. And I know it seems very much that teams in the West are at risk, but if a team goes anywhere, then a lot of rugby players across the board jobs are at risk, because the opportunities are going to be less. So there's going to be people at the Dragons who could potentially lose their jobs as well.
Well, let's be honest, part of why they're trying to do this, because we probably don't have the playing base for 4 teams. If we've been really quite dispassionate about it and realistic, are there enough Welsh players to create 4 good sides? Probably not. That's part of why they're doing it.
Yeah. But then why do all 4? I know all 4 are struggling at the moment. Okay, Cardiff are having a decent little run, but not all 4 teams have to be in the top 4 of the table all the time. that's not the same in any other country.
But they can't be consistently in the bottom 6 either.
No, that is true. Yeah,
that's a fair point.
You know, I don't think anybody's. It's not Leinster levels of funding. I was having this conversation with one of the parents of the kids I coach, and he's a Irish rugby fan, and we're just talking about Leinster's huge amount of money, but no one's expecting that. Just be competitive. It'd be good if we could consistently get 2 sides into the playoffs.
Yeah. So in some ways, then concentrating the talent to 3, increasing the budgets for the 3 regions, those 3 teams are going to be better, but you can't ignore that people are going to be losing jobs and people are just going to lose their team, which I think football's already overtaken rugby in Wales. If large areas lose their team to support, I think that's going to not help the pathways at all, no matter how much investment goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a human cost to all this. So
yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Gav. I think you can make logical, sound explanations as to why we should go down to 3. I get that. I don't want to lose a team. I wanted us to stay at 4, but I will
I'm the
say,
same. I'm the same.
Yeah, I will say though that going down to 3 is better than going down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
That optimal solution they said, their preferred model, that was a disaster. The East and West, 2 teams. That was just absolute nonsense. This is better than that, but it comes at a cost now because somebody in the West is going to go. I think it's pretty obvious, a team in the West is going to go, and people are going to lose their team. They're going to lose their routine. Every weekend going to support their club, creating memories with friends and family. People's jobs are going to be lost. It's going to leave a hole in the community. It's going to have a detrimental effect on the local economy. It's rough, And like I said, I was speaking to Osprey supporters at Rodney Parade on Saturday. They're very worried. They think they're going. They don't think they'll survive above the Scarlets. But they don't think they will.
Well, I think the WRU are going to make a decision that neither side survives, and it'll be, you're a new West Wales team, and you'll play in different colours and stuff.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it'll be an even worse decision than losing a club. It'll be like losing 2 to say, you can all support this imaginary unicorn team.
Exactly. That'll be what they want. They think, right, we're not going to lose any base of fans here because you can both support this team. But in reality, neither side's fans are going to feel an association towards it.
No. And those Campus Point people on social media are saying that's what the country needs. It needs to be like this. Who's going to support it? The 9 of you on it, 9 of you on the internet, and the 4 people in North Wales are interested in rugby. And will nobody think of North Wales?
The one thing I would object to, though, is that I've seen online articles saying like the Reading should be stepping down because he's not got his optimal solution over the line. But he can't win. He sort of said, this is the optimal solution, but we're going to consult and we're going to listen. Everyone said, well, you're not going to listen, are you? He's then listened a bit and everyone's gone, well, you fucking bottled it. You should go. And you're like, well, it's just, he can't do any right. And I'm definitely not pro Reading, by the way. Sod him. Stop trying to bin off a team.
Yeah.
But he's
Some
in
of
a
the
tough
language
position.
about him, though, is worrying. It's like, how can English people decide Welsh rugby? Well, professional people can just make professional decisions.
And without the emotion, he is in the best position to do so.
Yeah.
I don't think he understands Welsh rugby, though, and that's what I've been saying. I don't think him, Richard Collier, Keywood, and Abby Tierney, and it's not about them being English. I agree with you. If you look at like Noel Mooney, who's the chief executive of the Welsh FA, he's Irish, but he completely tapped in to Welsh culture and Welsh football. He understands Wales and the football and the culture. I don't think these people understand Welsh rugby, and that's the problem.
Well, sorry, go on, man.
No, you're right.
I just could Noel Mooney's a great example of it because I always remember when Wales qualified for the World Cup and the video, they put out for David Ewan Zamaro Heed. Honestly, I watch that occasionally if I just want to get a bit teary because it's just all this great stuff about Wales, and it's like, this is all tied in together, and they even released a uncensored version that criticises Margaret Thatcher as well, which is, kind of whether someone in the FAW was just like, oh, I don't know what those words are, I won't worry about it. Someone just went, now we'll release that version.
It's mad how right they've got it at the foot. So I go and watch all the Wales football games, and you're like, they absolutely nail it.
Oh,
you're like, hang on a minute, everything that they're nailing is about Wales. Why we can just do that in the rugby? It's not. Everything surrounding the football, the rugby can do. We can turn off the music for the anthem and belt it out and create that atmosphere and tap into the passionate Welshness, and we're just not doing it. It's not being run well, is it, for far, far too long? No. But yeah, I don't care that Reading's English. Whoever's the best to sort out Welsh rugby is the best to sort out Welsh rugby. I don't care where they're from.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think they are.
No.
But I don't think that's because they're English. I think it's because they don't understand the job they're being presented with.
No.
And the thing is as well, like, seeing a team go now is genuinely upsetting. Like, who's going to have the Christmas derbies? One team's not going to have someone to play. I know that's a selfish thing, but like, it's quite detrimental because that's how you get youngsters into the game. You go to a big occasion game, and then the next time your dad's going, you go, oh, actually, I enjoyed that. Can I come again? And that's how you build habits. But nobody talks about the Celtic Warriors now and go, oh, still sad when they went. Do you think the WRU just go,
some people do on Twitter, mate.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Some people do.
They actually do, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. But do you know what I mean? Do the WRU go, well, most people just fucking move on? Because whoever does stay, if it was Scarlets or Ospreys, and this is very hypothetical, the one that does stay probably then is going to stop making any noise about it. And they're not going to go, oh, it was wrong. They're just going to be like, great, cheers.
Not. No one's going to say that, are they? If it was a straight fight between Ospreys and Scarlets and Ospreys won, they wouldn't be talking about the process. They'd just be like, oh, look, and we played St. Helens, and isn't this lovely?
Exactly. So the WRU must think, well, we just got to get through this noisy period, which is quite sad, really, because it does make you think, what power have we got?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's it. And I feel for Ospreys fans. Someone said to me in Ospreys fans, oh, you must be quite happy with the news. And I was like, no, I'm not happy. A touch of relief, yes.
Right, I'm glad you said that, because this is what I'm going to talk about now. There is a misunderstanding here, right? Because I've had people say to me, oh, Dragons are safe then. You're doing okay, Dragons are safe. What we know is there'll be pro rugby in Gwent. That's what we know. But it may not exist as the Dragons.
No.
This is what I was trying to explain to people at Rodney Parade on Saturday. It might be a completely new team. They haven't ruled out, the WRU said this, they haven't ruled out creating new entities, creating new teams. And one of the things I listened to on Scrum 5 Pod, I don't know if you listened to it, Gareth Owen had an interview with Dave Redding. And he said, he asked him a question. He went, so like, for argument's sake, if somebody wanted to create a new team in Cardiff, someone comes in and says, we want a Capital City club. We're going to play in a Cardiff City stadium and we're going to call them the Taffs. And it would completely torch any heritage of Cardiff rugby. And he said, is that an option? And Dave Redding went, well, in theory, yes, it's an option. So we will get pro rugby in Gwent, and I am pleased about that. I think it's right to continue pro rugby in Gwent because it is a rugby hotbed, absolutely, Yeah. But we might not exist as the Dragons. What does that look like? That's what people need to understand. We may not exist as the Dragons. We could be a new team, new colours, new name. We might be, I don't know, the Gwent Steelers or something like that. I don't know, but it's right. I don't think we can assume Dragons are safe. We can assume that pro rugby is safe in Gwent.
Gwent, yeah.
But what we can assume is that the Dragons, as they are in their current form, will continue. And I think that's the point that people are missing. So when it's like, oh, Dragons are fine, Dragons are safe. Well, actually, not technically.
And I do think that's a possible outcome of, even with Cardiff. Because like someone could come in and say, well, we're not going to play at Cardiff Arms Park. We're going to play at the football stadium, and we're going to play in yellow and green, and we're going to be called something else entirely. And then that takes away the fact that any team that plays the Cardiff Arms Park has to have Cardiff in the name.
Yeah.
And then you could have, whatever you wanted to call a West Wales team.
But that's what Gareth said to Dave Redding. Like he said, can someone come in, just buy Cardiff, relocate them, change their name colours, remove all the history and heritage? And Dave Redding, well, in theory, it could happen. By the way,
if that happened to us, I was going to say, if that happened to us and the team was still going to play out of Rodney Parade, but it was going to be a new entity with a new name, how would you feel?
So I was asked this question by the Argus because I had an interview with Iestyn Thomas from the Argus. I can't speak for all fans, but I think most people will just be happy that we have pro rugby continue at Rodney Parade. A name change, do you know what? We love a rebrand in Welsh rugby, don't we? We think it's the answer to all our problems. What's another rebrand? I mean, we only rebranded, 4 years ago? It was very soon, wasn't it? So, I think the important thing is we get pro rugby being played in Gwent. I'm not against the name change, actually. I would like to keep the colours. I think it's important to be black and amber playing in Newport. I think that's right. I know they represent the whole of Gwent, but I think it is right to play in amber.
And you're not a Newport boy saying that before everyone.
I'm from the Valleys, mate. I live and work in Newport. I was born in Newport, but I grew up I'm very much a Valleys boy.
Well, and I totally agree as well. I think if a team plays in Newport, it should play in black and amber. Yeah. And I am as Valleys as you can humanly get. Like, I've never lived in Newport. Never. I've always, when I've lived in Wales, I've always lived in the Valleys. Well, Cardiff as well. But,
and if anyone at the Dragons is listening, there's much, much bigger fights than our name. I don't go to Rodney Parade because of the name. I'm not attached to the name the Dragons. I love teams that play out of Rodney Parade and represent the area that I'm from.
Yeah. And that was the point I was going to make. So when the change happened in 2004, lots of my friends said, I'm going to support Ospreys or Scarlets. So, well, I'm going to support Newport Gwent Dragons because that's where I'm from.
Yeah, and your team.
And I was having this conversation with Johnny from the Scottish Rugby Pod. He said, "Why do you support them?" I said, "Because it's where I'm from. I haven't got a choice. What connection have I got to Ospreys?"
Exactly.
My granddad was from Seven Sisters. I don't think that really makes me an Ospreys fan. I am from Gwent.
Yeah.
And I would support the Gwent team. And whatever they're called, as long as they're playing in Gwent, I'll support them.
So we mentioned Dave Redding earlier. Have you seen that clip of what he says about the All Blacks?
Yeah.
He's been asked about history. So I saw the full clip. Some journalist, I don't know who he was, he basically had a pop with the Dragons.
Very unprofessional.
I thought it was the way he asked it as well. He basically had a pop with our lack of success. And then he said, "How the hell could you justify keeping a team in the East?" This journalist said. And that's how he said it, like.
In that voice, I hope.
He was a bit like that, yeah. I don't know who this guy was.
You shall not pass.
How the hell could you justify keeping a team in the East? Now, I liked what Dave Redding said. It has gone down like a bucket of sick with Scarlet supporters in particular. And he was just saying, look, we're moving forward. And he said, it's about the future. And he said, and I quote, "I'm not focused on what happened before or who beat the All Blacks 40 years ago." I thought that was good. I liked that. But that has gone down, like I said, very, very badly with Scarlet supporters. And I know David Buttress as well came out on Twitter and he criticised his comment. But you know what? I think maybe it is time for Welsh Rugby to move forward. Maybe we're constantly looking backwards.
What an outrageous thing to say.
I know, but but this is the problem. There's too much navel gazing and too much focusing on history. History is important. I'm not saying it's not important. Don't dismiss it. But maybe now in Welsh Rugby, we all need to start looking forward and thinking about the future instead of what happened 30, 40 years ago, or, we've had more success than you. And we've done this, we've done that. We got 150 years of history, heritage. Maybe it's time to move forward now and start afresh. Maybe it's holding us back.
A far better All Black side than the Scarlets. Because my dad reminds me every, Christmas dinner is, it was the only game the All Blacks lost on tour was against Newport. So it was a much better side. But yeah.
Did they go like 38 games?
Yeah.
They were winning before they were on like a 38 game winning streak.
Absolutely phenomenal. and the Scarlets beat a midweek sort of slap
It was the
together
team that had Colin Meads and all that, and it was a phenomenal team,
But
no,
no,
I liked what Redden said. I thought, actually, yes, let's look forward and move to the future now.
But he is right. This is the way. This is why rugby is so far behind the football. Is because we're looking back instead of looking forward. Like the football rebranded their badge and everything, and feel like Welsh rugby needs a rebrand.
Well, but I think the fans need help with that as well, because why do we kick it so much? Because that's modern rugby. Oh, why the players all look like that? Because that's modern rugby. Or why don't they just run round each other? Because that's not modern rugby. Yes, it's the game has moved on, but Welsh rugby is not, and it has to. And this is an opportunity for it to move on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it was right to cut the team.
No, it's not.
I still wanted 4. I think there was another way we could have done this, whether it be unequal funding or another way. But I think we do spend too much time navel gazing and looking back and banging on about history and heritage in Welsh rugby without actually properly looking forwards and starting to plan for the future. And I think we need to do it. And that's the one thing I will agree with Dave Redden on, actually.
Yeah. And
I know it wasn't popular, but I agree with it.
If this wasn't happening, or this cutting, and you just said, right, these regions now, you get X amount of money from the WRU moving forward and then generate your own money. If you went, who will have the most success in the next 10 years? It sounds mad, but you would put us quite high up on that list of who's going to have success because of the stable footing we've got and that we would have the money to invest.
Yeah.
Because it does come down to money. Other teams are in debt or they're not generating money because they've got no assets. Like there's a lot happening at Rodney Parade through a year these days.
Yeah, but that's the problem, Gareth. People are so focused on results.
Yeah.
They are so, and look, it is important. It's a results-based business. Obviously, it's important. But it's also not the be-all and end-all. Because Alan Wynne-Jones on Scrum 5, to be fair to him, he did say, you talk about success, because Foxy had said, this process is unfair. Maybe it should be judged on performance and results. And Alan Wynne-Jones said, well, what does that look like? Do you have success on field? Well, what success off field? Because he mentioned the fact that, rugby is a business.
Yeah.
And we have got a very good business at the Dragons. We own our own stadium. We've had many events held at Rodney Parade. We're hosting the women's football as well, Wales, on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. We've had international rugby football. We've hosted concerts. It's a really important asset. It has so much potential as well. If it's properly redeveloped, that's a great hub, isn't it, for for sport and community. And we've got we have got the best rugby business, I think, out of the 4. But the one thing that continues to hold us back, we've said it before, and why everyone is having a go at us is purely about the results. And I'm sorry, I got to call this out now. I know there's a lot of emotion, right, to what's happening. And it is shit, someone's going to lose their team. And people are hurt, angry, and upset. But could they just stop fucking blaming everything on the Dragons? Because I am sick and tired of it. We got a lot of shit for signing our PRA. A lot of shit. But you know what? That's the best thing we did. In fact, the more I think about it now, the more I think we did the right thing. We played it well. We was open,
a shrewd move, wasn't it?
Honest and transparent. We told the other clubs we were going to sign a PRA. We showed them the side letter. They had the opportunity and they didn't take it. They didn't sign it. And I'm not knocking them for it. They had their reasons. I get that. But they had every opportunity to sign that PRA. We showed them everything and they didn't do it. And now one of them looks like they're going to pay the price for it. And that's a real shame. Because even David Buttress said on this pod, and he said, I wish they signed. I wish they signed. I think we did the right thing with the PRA and the side letter. It's worked out well. I think our owners have been very, very smart in this whole process. And I think they knew this was coming. I think they had an inkling something like this was coming. That's why we got the lawyers involved. That's why we got the legal side letter. And look, like I said, I know there's a lot of emotion, but you got supporters now on social media saying, I hope Dragons get battered. You're like, well, first of all, mate, that happens most weeks. So that's not the flex you think it is.
No.
And secondly, it's all a bit pathetic. It's not our fault. We are not the WRU. The Dragons are not the ones cutting teams. Like I said, I get the emotion, but it's not our fault. Our owners have been smart. They've been smart.
And the mudslinging of people saying, "Oh, don't cut us," and they're really upset because the team's going to get cut, and they've got all that emotion and hurt. But then they just say, "Oh, it should be the Dragons." Well, you're just putting your hurt onto someone else. That's take it up with the WRU. That's where your fight is. Your fight is not with us. Because if you fight us, nothing's happening.
No, and we've been consistent, us as a free, have been consistent saying we want 4 teams. So particularly don't point it at us because,
But they're getting absolute pelters on social media from disgruntled supporters. And like I said, I understand why. It is. The Dragons are an easy target because of their results, so people like journalists or the lack of success. But what no one ever mentions, and it does piss me off, and I wanted Ashley Newitt to say this on Scrum 5, no one ever mentions the fact that, we have struggled over the past 20 years or so. Why? Because we had the lowest playing budget for over a decade, and that never gets mentioned. It never gets mentioned.
Exactly.
Though we had the lowest budget. Ospreys had success because they had Mike Curry pumping in millions and Rob Davis. I'm not knocking them for it. That's great. It's pro sport.
Fair play to them.
Cardiff had success because they had Peter Thomas and they bought the likes of Mama Monatika, Savia Rush, Ben Blair, Casey Laulala. They invested in their teams and they bought really good players. Now, we didn't have that same level of investment. We were working off a shoestring budget, and yet we have still produced Welsh internationals. We've provided a lot of players through the Wales A grade system. We have made a contribution to Welsh rugby. People saying we've done nothing. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We didn't have a pot. The Dragons didn't have a pot to piss in for years, right? Lee Byrne, in his autobiography, said they couldn't even afford tape. The players were sharing tape round. Read it. He says they were so skint. They were training in the tin shed, which is now Ronnie's bar. They didn't even have money to buy tape. So of course they were going to struggle because we didn't have any fucking money. It just winds me up. Honestly, it winds me up. I just want people to offer context to say, the Dragons were poor, but to be fair, they were operating on a much lower budget than their rivals.
Yeah.
Why can't people say that?
No. Well, this leads me into my lyrics of the week. So last week we were talking, I quoted Elton John. I've gone slightly different this week, and I'm quoting Canadian melodic hardcore band Propaganda from their song "Dear Coach's Corner." It's actually about ice hockey, but it works with this as well. We may not be the same, but it's not like we're from different planets. We love this game so much we can hardly fucking stand it.
Fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. 2 quick points. The point made in the Dragon statement about it being essential that clubs retain control of the rugby decisions. This is a big sticking point with the Dragons. Okay, so the WRU want more control of the rugby operations. They will have the power to hire and fire coaches. And what they're saying to benefactors is, we want you to pay more for less control. So benefactors can't invest millions only as a commercial partner. That just doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
And that is why what I've heard is Direct is not happy with this about being asked to pay more, but they're not getting any control over the rugby operation. Literally, they'll just have control over the commercial side, and that's nonsense. If you want people to pay up, they need full control of the club.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's got to change. One other thing, the budgets. So the budgets mentioned for these 3 teams are going to start at 6.4 million and they're going to rise to 7.8. Okay. That's still not enough.
No.
If you want to compete, if we're talking about seriously competing, and I'm not talking about, scraping into the playoffs, I'm talking about properly compete at the top of the URC, right? If you want to compete in the URC and you want to compete in the top level of European rugby, that's not enough.
Well,
because even with these increased budgets, we're still going to be behind the likes of Leinster, Munster, Ulster, Benetton. I'm not sure about the Scottish teams, mind. I think it might be equal with them. But it's not enough, these teams.
No, it's Glasgow and Edinburgh on 8 million.
But it's not enough. So we're going to be putting people through more pain. We're going to alienate them even more. Jobs are going to be lost for a very little increase that still might not have Welsh teams competing at the top level and our national team still being poor. There's no guarantees. I think you needed a budget Me personally, I think they needed a budget of at least 8 million to start if you truly want to be competitive in Europe. And like I said, not scraping into the playoffs like our Welsh
And
teams have been doing.
this budget's getting ramped up. I mean, everyone else's budget will be going up. Benetton are already on 12.5, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
What's it going to be in 2 years? It's probably going to be 15. Like, it's just, yeah, we shouldn't be looking at trying to match what somebody was paying a year ago or what Glasgow were paying when they won the league. We should be looking at what Glasgow will be paying in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. But those were the big points I took out of that. WRU obviously want benefactors to pay more for less control. They want to take full control of the rugby operations, and I don't trust them to run a bath.
No.
And these budgets, yeah, we do need an increase in budgets. And 6.4, yeah, that's obviously more than what we're on now. Still not enough.
No.
You're still training behind the best teams, even if it goes up to 7.8. It's not enough.
8 million is a ceiling, no ceiling is a starting point.
That's where it should start it. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. We should have started at 8 and then go up from there. But no. I don't think I've got anything else to add about this other than, look, it's just really shit for whoever goes. Yeah. I wanted 4 teams. It's really sad it's come to this situation. And what I would say to people who are, angry at the Dragons all the time, maybe direct your anger at the WRU, the governing body that has mismanaged rugby in Wales for decades. That's where the blame should go. I know we're an easy target. I know you're upset and angry, but direct it at the governing body.
Punch up, don't punch down.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because you're going to hear, well, we've already seen it over social media, of course, the weekend, but you're going to see a lot of anger aimed at the Dragons being thrown under the bus on podcasts and whatnot. It's going to get nasty now, I think. And we're always the brunt of the criticism all the time. And the Dragons have got nothing to apologise for. They've got nothing to apologise for because the owners have been smart and they want a sustainable, successful business in Gwent. And they shouldn't have to apologise for that. They shouldn't have to do it.
It'd be interesting as well, one more thing, that the Ospreys and the Scarlets banded together to not sign PRA 25, even though we encouraged them to and let them know about the side letter. Yet they then instantly, the Scarlets tried to stab them in the back by objecting to the St. Helens developments.
That was the supporters club. That wasn't
supporters. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It was the supporters club. Yeah. But this is why we're saying to the Ospreys fans, I said, you talk about West clubs stick together, but then the supporters club straight away, put in that objection.
And all this,
and you think, well, hang on, we're constantly told, we all need to stick together, and you're thinking, well, that's not sticking together, is it?
Like three of the Welsh teams are at the bottom of the table at the moment, and I can only see it getting worse now the next year or so. I mean, we're good off field, but we've been wanting to push on with development of Cabbage Patch. That's all on hold. You can't possibly be getting things like that over the line, not knowing if we're even going to have a rugby club to actually facilitate it.
It's going to make recruitment hard. I feel really sorry now, particularly for Ospreys and Scarlets, because it does look like potentially Ospreys are going to lose Darry Lake, Jack Morgan, or lose all their best players, because as you rightly said, of the uncertainty, we could see that at the Scarlets as well, because nobody knows what's going to happen. It'll be hard for us. I think it'll be hard for all the teams, because like you said, Wales is just seen as a laughing stock right now. Why would you stay in Wales? I hope they do. Don't get me wrong. I really, really hope they do. But also, spare a thought for Steve Tandy. Yeah. Like, he is leading his players now into an Autumn Nations Series campaign, right? And everybody thought on Friday morning that we're going to stick with 4 teams and it was going to end the uncertainty. But he's still going into a Wales Cup now with players still anxious and worrying about their futures.
He does seem to be ignoring the 25 cap rule also,
We'll come on to that in a minute, but I do feel for Steve Tandy. He shouldn't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Welsh Rugby has got a lot on his plate at the moment. He's got a tough job trying to turn around Wales. And now he's got this distraction. And players are going to be worried, and it must be in the back of their minds. I do feel for the Ospreys, and Scarlets and all this, but we don't help ourselves, do we, either? The Dragons. If we started winning games, then we wouldn't get as much criticism for everyone. But I am sick of us being an easy target all the time purely for results. Yep. I know it's an easy thing to do, but It's just, but this is where the Dragons, this is where they do annoy me. And I say so many times, they don't change the narrative and they got to start winning games because we don't help ourselves.
No, we've got to control the narrative, haven't you?
Absolutely. I think I've had my rant now. Any of you two got anything more to say about this topic, about the WRU?
No.
Before we move on.
No.
Gareth, any further thoughts?
No, all good.
Okay. Right. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and spread the word. We are available on Apple, Spotify, the Rap YouTube channel, and all the usual platforms. You can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, X, and Blue Sky. I just want to quickly go into this then. The Wales squad for the Autumn Nations series has been announced. 5 Dragons players were called up. I'm not going to lie, that was more than I thought. I was pleasantly surprised because I did say on the pod I expected no more than 2, possibly 3, but we got 5. So I think that's pretty good from our point of view. And it's more than Scarlets as well, surprisingly. Alan Wainwright, Ben Carter, Brodie Coughlin, excellent. Super Chrissy Gorman and Rio Dyer are called up. So 5 players from the Dragons, 4 from Scarlets, 9 from Ospreys and Cardiff, and get this, 12 players outside of Wales. That's quite telling, isn't it? Wales have got a very tough autumn schedule with Argentina, Japan, New Zealand, and South Africa coming to Cardiff.
And South Africa, none of the guys who play in England will be.
Well, there's some dispute at the moment, isn't there, as well, with the URC and the rugby union, the South African rugby union. I read in Wales Online, but it'll probably get sorted out. But this is the problem when you play tests outside the test window, and it shouldn't be allowed. That's why it's called a window, but that's a different matter altogether. Although you could argue that we need the revenue, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Right. So what do we think? First of all, 5 Dragons players in the squad. Happy? We must be happy with that, surely.
Yeah, very well. I thought we could have as few as 1. So
yeah, Gareth.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, Wayno and Carter really well deserved, but really pleased to see Brodie in there. I think. Yeah. He's really deserved that call up. He's definitely good enough. He's there on merit. He's absolutely quality, and I hope he realizes that he is there on merit and he's a quality player. And just go put your best foot forward. Just do what you've been doing, Brodie. You've been absolutely awesome. Chris Coleman, good to see him in. I'm hoping working with Adam Jones as well will be good for him.
He won't be there, will he? He's be Duncan Jones now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Duncan Jones, isn't it? Yeah. I'm hoping
he's a good coach by all accounts.
Yeah,
my Ospreys say he's rated very highly as a coach.
Yeah, he is rated highly, so that would be good for Chris as well. And Rio, I mean, I think Rio has never let Wales down. I think he's been really, really good for Wales. In probably a bit of a struggling Wales side as well. We all know, we've covered Rio a lot, that we don't get the best out of our wingers here. So I'd love to see him go and show us what he can do for Wales. Yeah, good to see. 5 is very, very good. Pleased with that. Gives me some interest because I feel a bit disillusioned with Wales at the minute.
Did you see the video, Brodie Coughlin on BBC website when he was talking about his call up? Did you see that?
I haven't seen that, no.
So he's talking about, it's a really nice story actually. So Steve Tandy, fair play to him, called him up the night before and said, nice. You're in the squad, which I think is a really nice touch. It looks to me like Steve Tandy is already doing a more hands-on job than Gatland was.
And he came across very well, I thought.
He did.
In the interview, really well. And
I've been impressed with him.
Spent a lot of time in the regions, hasn't he? Which is exactly what we want.
He's doing and saying all the right things. And I want him to do well. Like I said, I met him at Ronnie Perry, had a brief chat. He's a really nice guy and I want him to do well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, he personally called Brodie. And then he said that the first person he told was his mum. And she was crying. She was in tears. And I just thought it's lovely. It's a really nice, and he deserves this. He should have been capped before now, mind. And I've always beaten that drum. He should have had his cap before. But the thing is, he might not even get to play a game, I suppose. But at least he's in the Wales squad. At least he's in the environment. Because I do expect Belcher to be the backup to Dowie Lake. You would assume that. I don't know. But let's hope he does get some game time.
He's better than Belcher.
Oh, don't hear Cardiff fans.
I don't doubt that for a moment. And the more I'm thinking about you questioning me, saying we've got a better pack than the Scarlets, I thought about it. We'd fucking ruin their pack. We're much better up front than them.
Oh, Gareth.
Gareth, come on now. Stop being silly now. Any other thoughts on it then? How do we feel about the schedule, the Wales got? Because it is a tough schedule. So how many games do you think Wales can win? So my theory is if Wales win 2 games, that will be a successful autumn. When you look at the squad, when you look at the schedule, I think 2 wins would be a very successful
If
autumn
they win
campaign.
2, it'd be an excellent autumn.
I think so too, yeah.
I think 1, yeah, they should win. They should beat Japan. Argentina are a good side, and it's not 20 years ago. If we beat Argentina, we've done very, very, very well. We aren't beating the other 2.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. I think 2 would be fantastic. I would only predict 1. It's a little bit like looking at our fixtures, and it's quite tough to think where the win's going to come from. But yeah, you'd expect us to beat Japan, and then who knows? But the other 2 tests outside of Argentina and Japan, Argentina are a bloody good team, mind.
Yeah,
that's
they've beaten New Zealand and South Africa this year.
Yeah. The thing with Argentina, though, they do blow hot and cold. They are exactly the type of team that can beat the All Blacks one week, but then lose to Scotland the next. They are inconsistent. I love watching Argentina. I think they're great, but that is a winnable game. Well, Japan is non-negotiable. That has to be a win. Simple as that. That is a non-negotiable. But I do think they're capable of beating Argentina as well. I can see 2 wins. Unfortunately, I don't see us Argentina first. I don't see us beating the All Blacks, and we could get a pumping from South Africa. That's my only concern. But we could get pumping from the All Blacks as well. But those games are going to be horrible for Wales, I think. But those first 2 games are very winnable.
You'd hope with a new staff that we're not going to take a pumping in any international match now.
We are, mate.
Yeah, sorry to break it to you, Gareth. He's very optimistic again, isn't he? He's got
it's not the staff, it's the players, mate. We are.
Yeah, do you know what? I was looking through that team and I was, or the squad. I was like, oh, he's in. Oh, that's exciting. And then I was like, where's all the fucking stars?
We don't have any anymore.
But you need to go out, win games, and become stars. There's players in that squad who could become stars. Maybe
there was a lot of discourse around Tom Bowen now getting called up. So a lot of people were having digs at Rio then, saying what's Rio done? He's been rubbish. Why is he in the head of Tom Bowen?
Himself at international level. He's been very, very good for us. He's scored a lot of actually very good tries. Tom Bowen looks a fantastic prospect, but he's had like 5 games of rugby.
Yeah. There's no him in yet. Yeah.
There is absolutely no rush. If he's still playing this well next season, yes, get him in. But there is not a rush to just throw someone in. He looks a good player, but come on.
I'm pleased for Rio. I am really pleased for Rio. I'm not going to lie though, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. I don't think we saw that coming, did we? But I'm glad. I'm really glad.
He's never let Wales down though.
He hasn't. No, not at all. Is there anyone else in the squad that caught your eye?
The lad, Louis Hennessy at Bath. He's an interesting looking player. I don't know a lot about him. But what I've seen, he looks good.
I would love us to sign Louis Hennessy. Him and Ackerman for the under-20s was a beautiful partnership in the centre. A proper 12 and a proper 13. Yeah, I like the look of him. He's exciting.
You mentioned it earlier, Gav. Rhys Carey, 25 cap law, which they said that he was eligible. They took it to the PRB and they said that he is eligible. So I'm guessing that Carey wasn't made an offer when he left Wales, and that's probably how he qualifies. By the way, does anyone find the discourse surrounding Rhys Carey just a little bit strange? Because I know he is a very good player. I like Rhys Carey, and he's doing really well. I know he has done really well at Saracens. But people are like over the top about his return to the Wales squad. It's like, well, he's still not a very good scrummager. He might have improved now, I don't know, but scrummaging has been an issue. You're shaking your head, Gavin, so he's still not really improved in that area.
I don't think. I watch Saracens occasionally on TV. He doesn't look that good at scrummager to me.
it is nice to see him back in the squad, but he's not like the missing
He's
piece to the
he's a
puzzle, is he?
dynamic player. He's a
Yeah,
dynamic player.
but is he a better scrummager than Nicky Smith? No,
Or
absolutely
the
not.
other Cardiff lad who's just been called up as well for his debut is Southworth.
Danny
Yeah.
Southworth.
Of what I've seen of him, he can scrummage.
Yeah, yeah, but is he better than what I'm saying? Is he more, a better scrummager than
That-
guys like Nicky
That's
Smith and Gav Thomas? Well,
that's
No.
the
no, he's
thing.
not.
People want Rhys Carrick because they go, oh, everything he can do in the loose and his carrying. But unless you've got a set piece, we're not going to see him in the loose anyway.
I've said this a million times on you. It's great if props can do stuff in the loose, but that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Their bread and butter, their core work is scrummaging.
Yeah, I do think the way he was called out though for his fitness by the Wales management at the time was a
Well,
poor
was
way
also
to
poor.
do it. But
Yeah.
then everyone's giving Gatland shit. I will remind you as well, it wasn't just him. Pivac bombed him out for his fitness as well. He was bombed out by 2 coaches for his apparent lack of fitness. So it is
Yeah.
worth bearing in mind. Hopefully now his fitness is improved. But like I said, don't get me wrong, I like the guy and I'm pleased to see him back. But I just thought the reaction to it was a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
He's a
No,
good
yeah.
player, but he's not going to transform our pack.
Yeah, we're not
He's
going
not
to
gonna
win
get us on the
games
front
because
foot.
of him.
No, but he is a good option to have off the bench for his carrying, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like I said, pleased to see him back. I just thought the discourse was just a little
Jared
bit
Evans
strange.
in as well, I was pleased to see.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
Because if
tens
we're-
are interesting, isn't it?
10's very interesting.
You've got Sheedy, you've got Jared Evans, and you've got Dan Edwards. I can't think of his name then.
yeah.
I like Dan Edwards.
No Sam Costello though.
Yeah, no Costello.
I thought that was a little surprising. I'll be
Right.
honest, but he gets so much stick, Costello, on the forums.
He's not an international player for me.
You don't think so?
No, I like him. He's a decent player, but he's not an international player. He doesn't control the game enough.
No, and that's fair enough. But I just feel a bit sorry for him. He is turning into the new Reece Priestland. Remember when Reece Priestland got so much criticism and stick, and I just think he's an easy target for a lot of people. I don't think he's as bad as everyone say. I like Sam Costello, but
Well, he is a good 10. I just
Yeah.
don't think he's an international 10 at the minute.
no,
That
I
might
get
change.
that. I'm a big fan of Dan
Who
Edwards.
would you
mate.
pick out of the 3 then in the squad?
Oh, Dan
Me?
Edwards.
Yeah, Dan
Okay.
Edwards, I think.
He is
I
the
like
best.
Jared
like it,
Evans as well.
I like Dan Edwards because we were obviously giving him some stick on the terrace if he made a mistake, and he sort of smiled. And I quite like it when players are a bit
I like
cocky
it.
and can
He seems a nice
take
kid
it.
as well, doesn't he? Dan
Yeah.
Edwards. He just seems like a nice kid. So,
And he's confident. You've got to be confident to be a 10.
oh god, yeah, absolutely.
That
Nick
Sheedy can't
Tompkins.
kick, can he? So
No, Nick Tompkins found his way back in the squad. Former Dragons player, of course. Nick
I think he'll
Tompkins.
start.
Well, the thing
Prince
is,
of
everyone,
Chaos.
everyone gives him stick and say, "Why is he in there?" But from what I've seen of Saracens this season, he's been playing
No.
really, really well.
I like him. I like him as a player. He's
I'm
bonkers, and you have no idea what he's doing at times, and neither does he. But he always gives 100%.
And if you
Yeah.
use him right, like we did in the World Cup partnered with North, he's really good. And I think Sherratt, for all his faults, is a good attack coach. I think he could use him well.
Yeah.
I think him and Max Llewellyn are a really nice centre partnership for me.
I like Matt Llewellyn as a player as well.
I think there's good size there. They can play at the line. I would like to see that. I wouldn't be surprised to see those two at 12 and 13 because I'm not convinced yet by Ben Thomas at international level.
No,
Same.
I like Ben Thomas, but I think you're probably right.
I
And
don't like him. Plays for them, but
Or
Yeah.
Gavin likes Ben. He's a big Ben Thomas fan.
Ew.
I am.
Yes.
No, I have said it on a number of occasions.
Yeah,
I like a playmaker at 12.
he's I've always said he's a classy player.
He
But
is
I
classy.
still think there are question marks about him at international level. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
No,
not.
he is
I'm
a
not
good
sure
player, he's very good.
he's not there internationally for me yet. But I do think I've said and I will always say he's a good player who brings other players into the game. But
Yeah, he's good. He is good
But-
at club level.
where I think the weakness is in the front row, isn't it?
Yeah.
The props aren't
I
filling
think-
me with passion.
Well, I was just about to say, as much as I'm really pleased to see Super Chrissy Coleman in there, I am very concerned about the tight their position, mind. I am very concerned. Archie Griffin is a good player. I like him, but he doesn't get hardly any game time for Bath.
No.
And then you got, Chris, who's, scrummaging. He has improved, Chris Coleman. Let's be honest about it. He has. But his scrummaging, as we saw on Saturday, still needs a little bit of work, doesn't it? So, it is a bit of a concern looking at the tight ends. But I think centre as well. I don't think... I'm a bit concerned about the centre partnership as well. But back three is good. Thomas Williams is in really good form.
Yeah,
he's a fine player. I got no concerns at 10 because I like Dan Edwards. We'll see how it goes. So I'm saying 2 wins. I am. That's my prediction for the autumn. What about you two? What are you saying? How many games you? 1. Gareth, how many wins?
1.
You don't think? Who would you think would beat them?
Just Japan. I think we'll put Japan away. I think we'll get close-ish to Argentina, but first game as well. Is it enough time to really implement everything we want to do? And then we'll take 2 beatings.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot more competitive, or a lot more clinical against Japan than we were in the summer.
Yeah.
I think Argentina will beat us by about 10 points and the other 2 by about 30.
And I don't also think it's not the end of the world to only win 1.
It's just where we are.
But winning 1 or 2 in the Six Nations would be my preferred thing.
But again, it's where we're coming from, isn't it?
Exactly. And I go back to what I was saying earlier. How much of a distraction is it going to be now, the uncertainty in Welsh rugby for those players going into camp? It's got to be on the back of their minds, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's where I do feel for Steve Tandy. I really do.
The only thing with the players in camp, they're not the ones going to be out of a job because they'll get snapped up. But it is still a massive shake-up in Welsh rugby, which is not good. I'm literally on the eve of the squad meeting up. Cheers, WIU. Great timing.
I know. Hopeless, isn't they? Absolutely hopeless. I think we'll leave it there, chaps. It's been another long pod. No doubt someone will complain. But then, like I said, other people told me they love the long. We don't set out to do these long pods. It's just sometimes we have to talk about certain things. We can't ignore what's happening at the WRU or Welsh Rugby, and it does affect us. So, it is another long one. Some of you will like that, some of you won't. But, you could always just listen to us a bit at a time. You don't have to listen to this pod in full, by the way, as I tried to say to someone the other day. And some podcasts are actually 2-3 hours long, aren't they, Gavin? Like our favorite podcast on Spotify, Bandsplain. We love that pod. That's like 3 hours an episode. It's great. You listen to it in the morning.
Longer.
Yeah, sometimes longer. You listen to it in the morning, then in the afternoon, walk the dog, down the gym, or whatever. It's fine.
Another one I listened to, Talking Scared. It's about horror books. And once a month, they do a thing about one of the Dark Tower books of Stephen King. And they come in at 2.5-3 hours just standard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we were told that it's too long for a podcast. And, I said, well, that was a long episode. And some of these episodes have been longer. But like I said, some people love that. Some people are replying to the guy saying, well, I prefer them like that, because it gives me a lot to listen to during the day. But they won't always be this long. But there is a lot going on in Welsh Rugby. And I think it's right that we address it. So, Okay, gentlemen, thank you as always. Thank you to our friends at the Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of the podcast. Now, we are going to take a break during the international period. Okay, you're not going to hear from us. Why? Because we got lives and we got families. So we do this as a hobby. We're not professionals. We're not BBC Scrum 5 or anything like that. So we're taking a break. However, if you want to listen to opinions and analysis of Wales's autumn campaign, then I recommend the Rap Pod. That'll be the place to go. And you can listen to the guys there talking about Wales. But we're going to take a break unless there's another big bombshell that's being dropped on Welsh Rugby and it affects the Dragons, or if we got an interview. But other than that, I think we're going to take a break, aren't we, gents? Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll probably come back and then preview the Leinster game. I think that's what we'll do for that. So, Okay, thank you very much. Until next time, thank you for listening, and we'll speak again soon in a few weeks. Ta-ra.
Bye all.
Cheers.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.